said, the chair recognizes Rob Most for the purpose of a motion. And I'm also going to recognize Tom Stillings if he could come up real quick.
Mr. Chairman, most of you know that John Haggard is the co-chair of our great first district in the Trump campaign. John Haggard is the only person who has not withdrawn his name to run for our first district Trump delegate. You heard from Representative Kristen Cole that Frank Smith died recently. John Haggard and his family were a close friend of Frank Smith, and John must attend the funeral. So out of respect to John and his responsible actions toward Frank, I make the following motion. This is regarding the rules. To amend Section 3, Part A, by removing the words, quote, or who is absent from the caucus, end quote, of our proposed rules. That way a man who is fulfilling his responsibility to a dear friend is not penalized for doing something responsible. Mr. Chairman, I so move.
Second. Yeah.
Hi folks, I'm Tom Stillings, and there's been some controversy, been a lot of misunderstanding. John Haggard and I are friends. Oh, we oppose each other, we disagree once in a while. But, you know, in the end, we never lose sight of our common goals. We all want to get to the same place. And sometimes we get out and laugh at each other as we're giving a little jab and all that stuff. John's a really good man, and I was prepared to compete against him for this position. Then he was named, you know, to his leadership position in the Trump campaign. And I thought, well, you know, it's really appropriate that a Trump campaign person cast that electoral vote. So for John Haggard, I stepped aside. Not for anybody else, but for John. Yeah, we're friends. What the hell? So, in that spirit, I second the motion.
We have a motion on the floor, and it's been seconded. Is there any discussion? Is there any, we have a motion on the floor.
Oh, God.
Barb, I have to repeat what the motion is and second the procedures and not
Yes,
discussion.
but I don't want you to neglect having a discussion on it because you did it last time, Jesse.
Actually, I didn't, sorry.
Yes, you did, Jesse.
The motion's been made by Rob Most of Sheboygan County, seconded by Tom Stillings of Antrim County, to remove the section, to remove the line in Section 3, Part A, that reads, or who is absent from the caucus. Is there any discussion?
Discussion.
Yes, Barb.
I want it to be known that 4 years ago, these were not the rules. And nobody got the rules until it was too late, except for a few of them, okay? And that's not right. And when I found out that the rules were changed and I couldn't walk in here and put my name on the ballot, you know, I was furious. I looked for the rules, Jesse. They were nowhere to be found. They weren't online, they weren't anywhere. So for that reason alone, you can't change the rules and let Mr. Haggard be it because he's not here and waive those rules when you won't accept nominations from the floor. So I propose that we accept nominations from the floor. Mr. Haggard's not here to accept his nomination, and that's how we should do it. Do I have a second?
So, this is a couple notes on that. Barb is correct. These rules are different than the ones we held 4 years ago. For those of you who were at our last caucus, those rules were also different. Our caucuses went from being 4 hours, I believe, down to about just under 2 hours. The purpose of our body is to try finding a more efficient and quicker way to do things that's both fair and transparent. Barb, this one moment, please. These rules were created by the 1st Congressional District Committee. They were approved by that 28-member board. That 28-member board spans the district. Now that district committee then sent those rules out to each of the county chairs to ask them to send them out. Additionally, if you had given your email address when you reported the night that you were elected as a delegate or an alternate, you should have received those rules. For example, if you were a delegate or alternate and you had given your email address and you had received these rules in an email, please raise your hand.
Not very many.
As many people that received their email. So with that being said, again, the rules are that these are proposed. The purpose that we give these to you is so you have something to go off of. Otherwise, we're going to be creating rules from scratch. That's not the way we do things. And so these rules are up for amendment. They're up for
These
discussion.
rules are proposed, but you're already enforcing them
We're not.
without them being approved.
Barb, we haven't enforced them, no.
Okay, one more thing.
Hold on one moment.
I'm not finished yet.
No, you're talking about things, do you have something relevant to the motion that's on the floor?
I absolutely do.
Okay.
Okay, you got the agenda. On the back of this, you say, too bad, no matter what is ever on the agenda, you're stuck with it, we're approving it, and there's going to be no discussion on the floor. That's just plain wrong. This is a group. We are a group that we decide how you behave. We're your boss, not the other way around, okay?
So Bob, you're right. But if you do that, these caucus rules are proposed. These are not permanent rules. These are up for your discussion.
So
Barb?
you didn't even allow us to vote on the agenda, and you got on here, the agenda as prescribed shall be used without amendment.
Okay.
So you're already enforcing the rules without doing the rules. You see what I'm saying?
Point of order, Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
clarification.
Yes, sir.
Our statement says the agenda
Exactly.
will be modified. The discussion and contents of the items in the agenda are different.
Right, and you're right. And so it reads, the agenda as prescribed by the 1st Congressional District Republican Committee shall be used without amendment. If these rules are, these are the rules, so these have to be adopted. These have to get been adopted, but we have to do the pledge. We have to do an invitation. We have to recognize our speakers when they're here. That's just common courtesy. And so with that being said, we have a motion and a second. Let's get that off the board. If you would like to propose an amendment, Barb, you do have a right to do that. That's what this body is convened to do, is pass rules and then vote. And so with that being said, the motion is on the floor. It's been seconded. Again, it's for Section 3, Part A, to remove the words "or who is absent from the caucus." Is there any other discussion relevant to that particular motion? All right. Any other discussion?
Let me get this straight.
Any
It's
other
to vote for
discussion?
him, and he's not in the caucus, is that
No,
right?
this is to remove a line. We haven't done votes yet. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of amending the rules?
Aye.
Opposed?
No. There's
Motion
no
carried.
rules
Thank
for
you.
amending, Jesse.
Repeat it 3 times. Now, would you like to offer an amendment, Barb?
I would like to offer an amendment. Because the majority of the people in this room did not receive the amended rules, and you're already enforcing the amended rules. You are, Jesse, when you are doing the agenda without doing anything else. That's enforcing the rules that you've already agreed to, that this group hasn't, okay? It's just as simple as that.
Actually, everything we've covered is in the agenda that was sent by state party that I'm mandated to follow before we
I
vote on
read
the
the
rules.
state rules also, okay?
Thank you, carry that.
All right, I read the state rules. However, my motion, I would like nominations from the floor for the presidential election. Simple as that, like it was 4 years ago, so that now everybody in the room has notice of it. That's all. It's a reasonable thing.
All right. Barb has a motion on the floor to allow.
I
voting
second
on the
it.
floor.
I second it.
Can you, your name and county, please?
Monica Fiebing, Benzie County. Benzie County, Monica Fiebing, F as in Frank.
Motion's been made to allow nominations from the floor. Any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Hearing none? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Show of
Motion
hands.
fails. All right. Any other discussion on the rules?
Did it pass, Jesse?
No.
Then I want a show of hands, please. Under Robert's Rule of Order, I want a show of
Fair
hands.
enough. Can we have a show of hands for those who oppose the vote? Opposed. Right.
Oh, wait.
Oppose your motion, yes.
Just
Right.
let's clarify before we vote. Okay, so people understand what they're voting for.
Okay. So if you Okay, so Barb Williams has made a motion to allow nominations from the floor. If you agree that nominations, if you disagree, if you agree that motions should be made on the floor, raise your hand. If you disagree and you want to go with the rules as presented with the amendment Mr. Mills passed, show of hands, please. Anything under the chair, your motion has failed. All right.
Motion to pass for count? Yeah.
No.
Division, motion to count?
We've done a show of hands.
Motion to count?
You're not second.
Jesse has been motioned and seconded.
James, we get a parliamentarian, please, in the party.
We're gonna be here for freaking ever.